In the last 15 years, there's been this slow dawning realization that oyster habitats used to be in our coastal waters and they were quite widespread. They mostly disappeared before we started studying marine biology. So we're talking about the great losses of oyster habitats in the 1870s, 1880s, 1890s, around that sort of period of time. And that's because we opened up the steam railway network, and what had been small-scale local fisheries suddenly had urban markets they could export to. And at that time, the concept of overfishing hadn't even been invented. So right here in the Firth of Forth, there used to be an oyster bed that was 20 miles long by 6 miles wide. Now that's huge, and it's about the same size as the modern-day city of Edinburgh. It's an enormous habitat that we're missing.
Oysters are amazing filter feeders that can filter up to 200 litres of water a day each. They also enhance biodiversity, providing lots of hidey holes for other animals and seaweeds to live, as well as shelter from predation and places for eggs to be laid. But they store carbon as calcium carbonate in their shell, and that can last for a very long time, if not hundreds of years. I would say the thing that we've discovered most isn't necessarily the data itself, it's the response from the community. The fact that we've had tens and hundreds of people come out, help us do work like this, collecting data, as well as help us with the active restoration as well. It's been incredibly inspiring.
There are UN reports which report on plastic waste discharge for countries all around the world, and Vietnam is in the top 10 of those countries that discharge waste into the world. And I've seen other estimates that 4% of the plastic in the world's oceans is sourced from Vietnam. Now, a key solution has been to educate and inform people about the issue of plastic. The community engagement we've had has been very, very positive. People showing a very strong willingness to want to do something to solve this particular problem. And we've had extremely good engagement at the government level as well.
Using a strong empirical evidence base for the development of policies and regulation in the future is really, really important. So I think it's critical that we have follow-on projects that work on gathering the data that's needed to incentivize policy change.
So I think this is an excellent model of a research project which has potential to inform how we make policy in future, and I'm excited to see how the outcomes from this project can go on to lead to action in how we deal with the challenge of plastic pollution, which is serious around the whole world and including here in Vietnam.
Colombia is a very good example where we have important environmental problems affecting inequality. Socioeconomic indicators can be highly impacted by, for example, low air quality, lot of air pollutions, and when these overlap, inequalities increase. So we have a lot of dust from unpaved roads. The second is the renewal of diesel cars and the substitution of fossil fuels and diesel in industry. We presented the results of our research to the authorities from the Secretary of Environment and also the Secretary of Transport. But they also presented their views. There were very interesting synergies. That was the start of a long-term communication we had with them, where we were invited to participate in the discussion tables of the Secretary of Environment. They invested 2.5 million of Colombian pesos to pave roads in the areas we suggested would be the most effective. So we have health benefits, environmental benefits in terms of reduction of air pollution, and at the same time, reduction of inequalities.
Moving forward, particularly with the great challenges the world has at the moment, I think to place Heriot-Watt in that position where we're the go-to for governments and industry, that's incredibly exciting.